We are in Colorado today, and tomorrow we are going to ski a mountain called Crestone Peak. It's the 7th tallest mountain in Colorado on the list of 14ers. It's 14,295 feet, according to the information I have. We left this morning and drove 8 hours so that we could be here and we could gain some very important intel. We wanted to know, before we go skiing tomorrow, how much skiing we're going to have to do on the road. And we just found out that we shaved off about a mile, but we're still gonna have to skin up another 1.5 miles to get to the trailhead. So the good news is we were able to cut off some mileage. Bad news is not all of it.
Just scouting things out, seeing how much mileage is going to be added or gained tomorrow just based on the road conditions. Successfully, we've been able to get the truck stuck and unstuck in some melting snow. So I think we've decided this is about as far as we're going to go tomorrow, but it hasn't really added too much to what is going to be a very long day. I'm excited though, a little bit nervous. I've realized that I'm always a little bit nervous about our outings because it seems like we never do anything familiar. I'm hoping, I guess, for just a long, gradual skin, and then there's going to be a brutal climb towards the end.
.5:30 here in WESTCLIFFE, Colorado, a place I didn't even know existed 2 days ago. I made a huge mistake. I ate an entire pizza before going to bed, and my body reminded me of that fact about every 30 minutes as I tried to sleep. Got our bags packed. We're just quickly cooking some oatmeal, eating some Hostess donuts, throwing our last minute things in our bags, and then we're gonna head out. It's a 20-minute drive to the trailhead, and from there we'll throw on our skis, and it should be about a 17-mile day with 5,000 feet of climbing and hopefully nothing but sunshine.
I had a pretty good sleep last night, although I'm a little disturbed. Apparently I was making some alien-like clicking sounds in my sleep, and I think this is my first 14er here in Colorado, so another journaling moment.
Here the road ends and the snow begins. I'm excited to be here for Christof's first Colorado 14er. And I hope it's as good an experience as my first 14er was. But we're here, we're gonna throw our stuff together, put on our skis, and get going. The day is starting. We're headed up to 14,200 something feet.
All right, I think we're ready to go. It's a little surprising. I kind of thought it was going to be a clear morning, but I think we've decided we're in an undercast. That's what we're going to just assume, and we're going to break through. It's going to be blue skies and clear at the summit for a magnificent vista.
It's May 2nd, and it is snowing out here in Colorado. This snow was not in the forecast. We were hoping for a view. Made it to the old trailhead, which if we could have driven here, would have made today much shorter. You can hear the wind really going to town up high. That's an omen of things to come. But we've gone just over 4 miles to this point, and now we have another 4 to the summit. We're at the base of the Crestone Needle. Now we're gonna go up and over Broken Hand Pass and drop down towards Cottonwood Lakes.
I think we're gonna start getting into the real meat of the mountain right now. This is usually where I really start feeling horrible, but instead of being like 100 feet from the summit, we've got a couple of thousand feet of climbing to go.
I'm excited to get some of this mountain meat Christof just spoke of. I love some good mountain meat. We booted the last little bit to the top of Broken Hand Pass. We're at 12,800 feet. Sun still hasn't come out. Christof is completely fried, and we still have quite a bit to go. I think maybe he's bit off a little too much mountain meat.
I am definitely feeling the altitude. I have not crashed yet, but I just don't want to, like, you know, burn out early and then either not be able to summit, or just it takes so long that it's miserable and I just feel horrible. So.
We are at the foot of the South Col that leads up to the summit of Crestone Peak. 1,500 vertical feet stands between us and the summit, plus some cloud and winds thrown in for good measure.
I'm trying to block out of my mind the fact that this is not going to be the last climb of the day.
Straight up this. Yep.
The skis have come off. Danny, like a true gentleman, is putting in a boot pack because I think he feels empathy for how bad I'm feeling.
Careful right there. About halfway up the South Col, and it's steep, very steep. It must seem like I've been stopping, but I'm so tired, so tired. I can see the summit, and that's good for two reasons. One, it means we're close, and two, it means the clouds have moved away.
Shoot! Sweet! Dude. That was like a dramatic reveal.
Here we are just below the summit of Crestone Peak. We're at about 14,200 and change. We decided not to do this extra 100 yards and 50 feet of elevation gain just because it looks like it's going to be time consuming and it's pretty late. I was worried a couple times that Christof might not make it, but he pushed through the pain and sickness and irritation and got to the top. And man, the clouds cleared. We're getting a view. It's totally awesome. Cool route. We still have to ski down this line behind us. And so the day's not even close to being over.
This is phenomenal. I mean, this was worth coming up right here. You just never know what you can see up here until you get on top. I love Danny for putting that boom pack in. He probably put 95 to 6% of the boom pack in. But that saved me, man. I am so tired. I think Danny was wondering, like, was I gonna call it and just say, screw this, I'm done, I'm turning around? And going through my head, that final segment, all I could think of was the last scene of the original Karate Kid. Ready to go back down.
Just skied the awesome shot behind me, and I love that we get a look at it after doing it. That was sweet. The snow was awesome. It was pretty steep. A really fun descent. One of the most memorable descents of this year. And unfortunately, we have to put our skins back on here and skin up and over Broken Hand Pass. That was an amazing descent. We're headed up Broken Hand Pass, and we're doing some climbing that we do not want to do. But unless we want to move here and make this our permanent residence, we've got to go up and over this, and then we'll ski down, and hopefully not have to hike up or ski much more. Follow the skin track. We just got back to the truck, and what a blessed moment that was. The exit was very long and slow. Today was hard but awesome. And when you can have that combination, it's the perfect combination. When you have just hard, that really sucks. So if you can have hard and awesome, it's just so much better. We ended up with 16.7 miles and around 6,500 feet of climbing. I was so glad to be there for Christof's first time up to 14,000, but it is good to be back at the truck.